Hi, Trina Wright here with day 40 of 365 days of realization. I am outside walking at the state park, and I don't know if you can hear it, but it's windy. It's messing with my hair, which is fun. My hair is vibing up, and it's so wonderful. So, I have been thinking today about the deep appreciation that I feel about knowing that I have an inner being and knowing that the whole point of it is to connect with that inner being, that she has in essence gone to the place of my highest expansion. Whatever I've had experience wise, whatever desires I've had, whatever's taken me to the newest, most expanded version of myself is where she is. And then she is emanating a signal and calling me. And I think it's interesting because then someone might say, well, so how do you know? What is that about? And we've talked about it before, and I know you're all familiar with the emotional guidance system. I love that wind. It's playing with me. So when we feel good, it means we're going towards that calling. And when it feels not so good, it means we're steering away from that calling. So that's really simple. And then I was thinking about, so what happens when we have to make a decision and we're feeling like we need to decide between two things, or we need to decide something, and two different nudges arise. So first of all, important that we're in alignment, and as much alignment as we possibly can, because it's from that place that we're going to hear more. But I've noticed that there's this sort of idea floating around out there that almost as if you could get a nudge from your inner being, your source, soul, God, whatever, and then you could get a nudge from something else. So what would that something else be? Well, someone might say it's Maya, it's the delusion, it's the matrix, it's pulling you, taking you away. And I get that, but I've been playing with this really cool idea. What if every nudge you get is coming from your inner being? Because your inner being is constantly flowing to you. Your inner being has taken the expansion and moved into that new place where you want to get. So your inner being heard you loudly and clearly and is now calling to you. But if you have anything standing between you and hearing that calling, that's what makes the difference. So it might not be as pure. I'm just listening to see if people are coming. It might not be as pure because you're in your own way. So in essence, you're the only thing that is shifting that messaging. So what do I mean by that? Well, you have an experience and then you get a nudge and then you get another nudge. And so there's a few things that could be going on. Both nudges came from your inner being, but maybe at the first nudge opened up something and then the second nudge was more relevant, or maybe not, but that is a possibility. Also, remember that what would be the highest nudge that might take you quickly to catching up might not be possible for you. You might not be able to hear it in that moment, and so you need to take incremental steps, which some people call the breadcrumb trail, or just following your highest excitement, moving in the direction of that, so that incrementally you will then land where your inner being is and where your inner being's calling you. So I just thought it was really cool to play with the idea that there isn't these conflicting sort of aspects of my beingness. There's not like things that come from my ego, my person, and things that come from my inner being. No, I would look at it more like it's all coming from my inner being, but how much is my ego in the way, or how much are my limiting beliefs in the way? How much have I layered between me and the communication with my inner being? So get into alignment as much as you possibly can, as much as you can. You know, that idea of getting into alignment and then making decisions, amping up that attunement feeling where you just feel like you're dancing with your inner being, like you're seeing yourself and the world, the situation, the potential decision through the eyes of your inner being, because then that shifts it and gives the access point more availability for you to hear it, for you to get it. And then if you're not quite there, like be really conscious so that you have an awareness of where you sit in relationship to the nudges that you're feeling. And then if you feel like, you know what, I'm not quite, I still know that I have a bit of resistance with this, well then just go, okay, so that nudge is the closest that I can get to the full out calling of the fullest expansion of me, but it's closer and it's closer and it's closer, and just keep following it. And I think that's the joyous, delicious thing we came for, to have those ongoing moments of creation where it's like it's a moment to moment thing. And of course, the full out manifested whatever it is that we wanted is awesome and epic for sure. But the incremental steps to get there, the shifting, the discernment, the fine tuning, the marinating, all the different components that we're going through, the shedding, the resetting, the reprogramming, the emptying, whatever it is you want to call it, that just coming into the fullness of that as easily or as not easily as we are. I mean, we just are where we are. So But 100% knowing that every nudge you get is clearly coming from your inner being. There is nothing that could be wrong. Because remember, somebody that is depressed that then feels inspired to some type of anger, that's a better place than they were before they were depressed. Or somebody that is, and someone that was in the depths of depression and potentially felt suicidal, almost anything. I mean, having a beer, smoking pot, going out with people, like any of those things would be a better vibration than where they stood. So remember that we're incrementally always moving up, and that it's not even a bases across the board thing, because you could have one subject matter where you can reach to and how quickly is much different because you just don't have that much in the way. And then there could be another subject matter, like sometimes it's an ex-partner, an ex-wife, an ex-husband, a trauma, like those kind of things where that's going to take potentially a little bit more. So your inner being knows that and is going to incrementally call you around it, over it, under it, and on occasion through it, because maybe that will serve you ultimately. But lots and lots of times we can just navigate it without having to dive headfirst back into any of those things. So I think a lot of it starts with awareness. A lot of it starts with presence. A lot of it starts with just asking those questions. And I was chatting with my partner today, and one of the things was, I also think that when you get to a certain level of awareness, when you come to understand that you're the creator of your reality, that everything's an illusion, that you're calling together and it's your reflection, and you're operating in that mode, you're taking the bounce, you're taking the opportunity that all contrast presents, that all decision points, choice points present. When you're conscious about that, then some of this stuff isn't quite as relevant for you anymore. Like, it isn't so relevant for me. I mean, I'm not worried that if I get inspired to something that looks like it's of the delusion, it's going to get me. I mean, I don't feel that way. I feel so conscious and clean and clear about where I want to stand in relationship to my own self, to my expansion, to the intention that I want to flow as fully as I can with my inner being. I want to flow the fullness of Source out loud and be an expression, a physicalized expression of Source. So because I have that intention, one, I'm going to be more aware and I'm going to be attuned to that. But two, so is my inner being. My inner being knows that. So my inner being's got that information with everything else that my inner being has access to say, maybe we won't steer her to that way to get to the thing. We'll go this way instead, even though it's a roundabout way, because we know that that thing might take her off the path or off the trajectory. And really what our inner being is doing is trying to call us there on the path of least resistance, the quickest, easiest path to get to where we want to go. So that's what I wanted to share today. I just love that idea, and it's connected also to what I had shared a different day, which I don't remember which day it was, but that idea that thoughts are not individually rooted, that we don't actually think. This is another thing that I was thinking now, that we vibrate, and when we vibrate, the next level from vibration is thinking. So thoughts are like a next level of materialization of a vibration. Even though they're not material and we can't see them, it's more concrete than just vibration, because vibration's energy. So whatever thoughts you have, it's not that you thought them into being, it's that they already existed, but your vibration attracted them to you. And now you have another level of awareness. And wouldn't it be cool if that's the level that you could manage all the time? If that's the level that you could be getting the reflection from, would just be at the thought level. See those as your first mini creation, and then decide, is this where I want to go? Is this just a leaping off point? Is this just evidence that I need to shift, adjust, navigate differently? Because then it doesn't end up as a manifestation. And that is so fun, because again, that's that fine tuning and that playing and enjoying the journey every step of the way. So I leave you with those things. If you want to ask questions, comments, share what your thoughts are about it, I would love to hear it. Drop me a comment, and we'll go from there. I'll see you tomorrow. Look at that wind dancing and playing with me. Woo! Bye.